Good afternoon, Ina.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you again.
Yeah, same here, same here. There's one or two people who know what we've been up to for the past several years. Remember the first day I met you?
Yes,
It
long ago.
was there in Rosebank for the Rotary Arts Festival.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I had a stand over there and I was handing out canvases, remember?
I remember well.
And then you walked up and I said, you someone famous.
No.
And,
Yeah.
and then you said, yeah, a little bit. And I was like, oh, cool. And then we've been friends ever since then.
And then in Cape Town, I fell in love with your girls. They were just so special.
We were there for the 2019 International Watercolor Society Festival. And then we met up with Amit Kapoor. He's the vice president of the International Watercolor Society and the president of the Indian Watercolor Society. That's kind of where we started getting even more in depth in the watercolor canvases.
Such an incredible artist, and such a kind teacher. He's so encouraging to everybody. Wonderful, wonderful person.
Yeah.
And he loved your canvases. I've
Yes.
got one. That first one he did on your canvas, I've got it.
Yes.
We bought it. My sister and I bought it.
So in a watercolor canvases, that's not something in the ordinary. It's not something you see every single day.
No, not at all. I've been trying over the years to basically just prime the canvases in such a way that I could do watercolors on them. Okay.
Mm.
But I don't know if I'm allowed to mention names, but like the Daniel Smith, everyone knows that the watercolor base, that we have, I've got some right here. It's just very, very, very expensive. And then the big canvases that I've been using for a lot of the corporate stuff, I need to use two of those containers full, which is expensive and so on.
Yes.
So that's why I just loved your canvases, because I didn't have to do anything. I could just paint on them as they were. There wasn't an oil base. Watercolors basically by its nature should look like it's loose and free and let the colors just all flow together, right? Now we can't always do that. We all try and be too much in control. But with your canvas, the beauty is that you can go in afterwards and just gently touch it with a sponge or something and just lift it off. And it can look like you were nice and loose.
Yes.
That's what I absolutely love about the canvas.
Through the years, you did a picture of some ducks on water paper. And then I said to you that we should recreate the exact ducks on canvas. And then this was the ducks on the canvas. And compared to the paper, the colors are so much more vibrant.
They are. They are. It was such a brilliant suggestion of yours. It was really intelligent because they've been so popular. People absolutely love them.
Uh,
And they're not very difficult to do. They're easy, and nobody's buying them because they keep saying, "Oh, I could do that." I just needed that idea. But they're lovely and loose and fresh, and people like them.
that was a nice, that was a nice experiment that we did. We've also been working on some other canvases as well. This was also on watercolor on one of the new canvases we've been experimenting with. But when you zoom in on this, the colors blend nicely with each other. They don't mix. I mean, even the eye of the cats.
Yeah, it worked beautifully. Yeah.
These are your earlier ones on the canvas?
Yes, that was one of the first ones on your canvases, and it's beautiful. People have really loved that. Those autumn colors come out so nicely in the watercolor, and I love the soft background and then the vibrant foreground. And
Okay.
these canvases lend themselves very nicely to
This is one of my favorite ones.
that.
But what I've always found very interesting, and it's something that I learned from Amit, is that like even the white of the bark and the white of the reflection in the water, it's actually the canvas. It's not white paint. You're able to control the watercolors so that it doesn't just run over the entire canvas.
Well, the thing with a watercolor is it's got to be planed more carefully than an oil or an acrylic, because how much white you want is just you use so much more water for the white canvas to show through. You understand? And you've got to leave the white. The white of the canvas or the paper is the whitest white in that picture. If you go and add white, it's never as white as the white of the canvas.
And here's some more bossies on the side of the road, flowers. What are they called again?
Cosmos.
Cosmos. Yes.
The cosmos flowers are so popular in South Africa.
So how long have you been selling watercolors on my canvas? How many years now?
Well, since I met you, Graham, since I first got the watercolor canvas from you, I've been using them and I love them. If you look at that picture of the two of us there,
yes.
All those little watercolors that aren't framed on the canvases, they are all on your canvases.
Yes. People that come and view the art, do they click as to what exactly is happening?
Well, the problem in South Africa is that with our bright sunlight, it's difficult when you frame things behind glass, as we traditionally frame watercolors behind glass, that the glass reflects and we all have big windows to let in the sunlight and all the rest of it. But, it reflects on the glass. So people are loving the stuff on the canvases, so they don't have to frame it behind glass,
And other artists that come to the shows and that, do they pick up that something's a bit weird that it's on a canvas?
Yes, they all ask how they can do it. And I know a lot of people have been trying to do it with watercolor ground, painting that on first. I mean, Winsor Newton makes one and Daniel Smith make one. Those are the two that I know. There are others, but I don't know them. And but it's a mission. You have to prime the whole canvas, paint it all on, and you've got to do 3 or 4 layers, and you've got to sand it in between to get it smooth. So this is just wonderful because it's kind of already done for us.
And size-wise, what's the biggest watercolor you've done to date?
Ooh, I did that about 1.6 meter one. That was for a guest time, but I mean, it was a very loose watercolor. She wanted a loose watercolor look, so it's almost a bit amateurish. Well, not amateurish, but it's childlike kind of thing. But it was lovely. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And yeah, that was 1.6 meters wide. That was on one of your canvases.
Here's your picture of you and Amit.
Oh yes, I bought that painting from him, and I watched him paint it. It was so special.
Did you do a course with Amit?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And I learned more from him in 2 days than I had from any other art teacher before, Yeah.
Well, we're trying to arrange for a trip in 2025 with Amit and hopefully with yourself as well, where we can go around and showcase the canvas to everybody and offer some courses to the UK.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be absolutely awesome.
There's your funny photo.
There's 3 good artists there, and
I'm not the artist.
Well, that was Priscilla Agiros. She's a very famous painter in terms of, and internationally. She goes to Greece all the time. In fact, she's leaving for 2 months this year. But they are miniature artists.
And Karen.
And Karen as well. She's also a very good miniaturist. Yeah.
Yes, so Karen does a lot of pencil work, yeah? Beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. So next day we had some tea and we were busy experimenting with some tiny canvases, as you can see on the table over there. And this is actually, I think, a few months before I'd actually just left to the UK. Tell me something, your 5 minutes of fame.
Oh, Graham, I don't even keep my certificates or anything. I've had lots and lots and lots of them, but it's just, it just changes all the time. People forget and whatever. You get this award now, and then 2 weeks later, people have forgotten. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You're only as famous as your last painting. So you've got to keep painting and keep making good ones,
Last year you were in some finalists or something?
In many of them. I did, I can't even remember. I was in one in Albi in France. There were only 2 South Africans accepted for that one.
Yeah,
Then there was one of them, yeah, and then there was the Pyrenees one. There was, I think I was the only South African accepted for that one. And then there was a number, then Santiago. Yes, it'd been quite a few, but it's expensive to send your paintings overseas, you know, for us, with our exchange rate, unfortunately. But a lot of them now we're doing digitally, so that's good. There's one actually now in Fabriano in Italy. It's the biggest watercolor show in the world, I think. And it's really wonderful because 20 of us represent the whole of Africa. And myself and 2 of my students are part of those 20. So that was quite good.
Nice. What advice do you have for up-and-coming water artists or artists who want to get involved in watercolors?
Basically, any art is about brush mileage. So the more mileage you put in, the better you get. That's just what it is, you know. And with watercolors, I do suggest that you watch the masters now, you know, all the big names overseas, and just see how they, like Amit and Thomas Schaller and a lot of them, just see how they paint. I mean, Joseph Zbukvik in Australia, magnificent work, and it's so inspiring, you know. And they're all very encouraging towards other artists, you know. And just do it. And like Amit taught us, we had to paint fast. I'm getting there.
How long does it normally take you to complete a painting?
It depends on what I do. A big one, you know, with watercolor, you've got drying time. You have to wait for it to dry before you do another layer or another layer. So, it could take me 3 days. You know, it could take me 3 days. Yeah.
So the process of painting watercolors is similar to painting oil in that you need the layers to dry between.
Yeah.
Okay.
But with oils, you can work a la prima. You can do it all wet on top of each other. And with watercolor as well. But then there's certain things, you know, if you want depth, you just do have to go back and have a look again.
Add more colors.
I can do a painting in 2 hours, you know, so it depends.
Sure.
Depends on the picture.
Any other mediums that you've been testing on the canvas? Didn't you do coffee once?
Yes, I did. I painted in coffee, and then I work in a lot of inks. And I've just worked now yesterday. Well, I'm actually so busy with the one. I tried for the first time ever working with inks, acrylic ink, and then doing watercolor on top of the ink. I didn't think it was possible, but it works beautifully on the canvas. I haven't tried it on paper yet, but it works fantastically on the canvas. Yeah. And then, you know, at the moment I'm busy doing totally mixed media stuff. So I start off with something, and then just add and then, you know, eventually I start off with watercolor, then I would add ink, and then I would add acrylic or pastel or pen or whatever. And so if it's totally messed up and you have to go over it and lift it all up, and gouache. I use gouache, a lot of gouache as well. Yes. And yes, I love gouache. I love gouache on the canvas. It works beautifully, you know. It really does, because a lot of artists just do small gouache paintings, not big ones.
Yes.
And of course, so I do them on the small canvases. They really, really work nicely. I'm sitting here looking at my gouache paintings, and so it works quite well to do all the different media on top of each other together on the canvas. Works very well.
And you've never had any problem of the mediums peeling off or cracking or anything like that?
Not at all. Not at all. No. With oils, you can sometimes get that, but not with a watercolor. The only thing is, with a watercolor, you do have to preserve it. So, some people I know do spray it with the spray on kind of varnish, but I just use wax. I use there are 3 different types available. Here in South Africa, we've even got the Zelen one, and I've always used the Gamblin wax. And you just, I always rubbed it on with a little sponge, but I see that most people put it on with a squeegee or a spatula, just put it on like that. And then you've sealed it in forever, and it doesn't yellow, it doesn't anything. It's wonderful, and you can clean it off nicely. The color won't come off.
That's on the oils.
No, that's on over the watercolors. I've put the wax over the watercolor to seal it in, so that somebody's not going to wipe off your picture one day when they're cleaning the pictures, you know. And
yes.
yeah, so it works beautifully, and it preserves the color nicely, and you know you can't get fingerprints or anything on it. It really works very nice.
We're still working on things in the background, testing things, and so we've still got a bit of a path that we're busy walking, and hopefully we're gonna come up with some nice canvas soon. As we get to the point where we're happy with the stuff, we can start releasing it. But you've spent several years now with ACF, and I really appreciate all the time and everything that you've done with us, and we've come a far way.
It's an absolute pleasure. You've been so wonderful and so helpful to all the artists, and I really appreciate all your help and encouragement and suggestions and things. And I've still got a few of your canvases that I do still want to try out, especially the new ones. And I'll let you know as soon as I get the time to finish it more, and then I'll let you know. Okay.
Thank you very, very much for this awesome interview.